Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Dadman's SEC Football Review. Of course, I changed the title tonight, but it's week number 2. We have survived 1 week of Southeastern Conference football. No real craziness that happened so far this year in 1 week, but there's more to be had down the road. So we'll give people a few minutes to show up. Glad everybody will be here, or if you're in the chat, or if you're watching it on replay later on Twitch or on YouTube, glad that everyone will come by that will come by. We have an exciting evening planned and a lot of football to talk about coming up this next week. We will talk about last week, talk some geeky numbers, have some stats, and stuff like that. If you like stats, if you like to be geek with sports, that's me. Numbers rule. And I tell you, honestly, a lot of times if you look at the numbers, you can identify winners and losers. And you look for trends. Trends are your friends, as somebody says in meteorology. So if you're new to football, hopefully we can touch up some points for you. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask, and we'll try to work them in as we can. And to do things to grow football, grow your enjoyment of football, just to sit back and relax and have fun. That's what we're here for. And to have some friendly competitions and banter, share some stories, share some love with each other. This season, I will tell you, will be very interesting. I'm planning to have a bunch of eclectic guests, a wide range of views, people, personalities, nationalities, and everything else in the world of football. What does football mean in the U.S.? It could mean something different in Canada, around the world, obviously, and stuff like that. And then hello, speaker mouse. Hello to the always wonderful, fabulous, and beautiful Mrs. Dadman walking, who is silently in the background, making sure I don't mess things up. And what you will see tonight is a labor of love from her with all the graphics and things that you will see tonight. Thank you for all your hard work. And then, who are you? There's some guy, Ash Singh. Ash, glad to see you tonight, man. Glad to see you. So, well, like I said, we're going to have a nice, interesting discussion tonight, reviewing last week. We will bring on our special guest in just a moment. We'll look at last week's action from around the conference. We'll talk to our guests a little bit more about what they know with football. And if you, as I said earlier, if you have questions along the way, shoot them out, and then we'll try to address them. Except something like this. This is a question that, no, we call the game where you use your foot but not your hands soccer. Soccer. Good question, though, S. Thank you. So, after we talk to our guests, then we will preview the next week's games upcoming. We'll look at overall standings and rankings, and we will have the guest pick section against me. And then we'll see what happens with that. So, just giving another moment or two. I'm glad everybody's here. And I will now move into our first section. As I said, we're going to have a wide range of guests this year. Some very special guests. And I will tell you tonight's special guest is very special to our whole family. Has become a great friend to the family and to the channel, and it's been a very big encouragement for getting started. On that note, I will bring our special guest in. You might know her. She might be kind of cheesy, but everybody loves her. It's the great Squeaka Mouse. Squeaka, how are you?
Howdy. I'm great. I'm great. I love this sport. I was doing some research and doing like you said, and looking at the stats and numbers, and I know exactly how many RBIs each team has, and the number of birdies that each guy
What
has.
what
So I'm
what
ready.
about what about 3-point shots? Did you get them in there too?
I didn't think those mattered. I didn't know I needed to look up their 3 pointers. Oh, Snapdragons. Oh,
Yeah. Well, next time.
okay. Well, then I'll see you next time. Bye.
All right. Bye. Oh, uh, folks, this is the type of show we're going to have here. We're going to have fun with this and laugh and have fun one way. So,
I know
Squeak,
all
how are you?
about them footballs.
Oh, well, I'll save something I was going to say about a certain team you really love for later. But how are you doing today?
Doing all right. Been a busy day, but I'm glad I'm here. Get to hang out and chill with some football, and you know, we all know that every team I pick is going to win, so it's okay. It's all good.
Yes, and we're looking forward to hearing about how you pick your winners and losers. Coming up in the pick section. I think it should be quite interesting.
I just pick whatever you didn't pick.
Hey, like I tell everybody, we're not a gambling site. Don't rely on me for anything. I'm not an expert. I just like to ham and egg it, and that might be a good strategy going against me. So you never know.
No, that's not how I picked it, but I'll explain more later. That's not how I chose my teams. So what do we got
Absolutely.
coming up first? What do we got to
Well,
do
the
first?
thing. Let me
Let me
look at
look
a
at three
couple.
pointers.
Well, we'll. Oh wait. Let's go back up here. Soccer. Yeah, it's soccer. Ash. It's not football. This is football.
Football americano.
Ah, exactly. Angowo, hello. Good to see you tonight. Mm, yes, Ash. Birdie is a golf thing, or in badminton also, I think too. Uh, yeah, and RBR baseball. So yes, Ash, I will teach you American football as the season goes along. You stay with me. We'll teach you American football. Okay.
Yeah, I ain't gonna teach you American. I don't know nothing about nothing.
Yeah, you say that, but you know more than you know a lot more than you lead on. So yeah, well, but Ash, what has America not stolen from anything else? We specialize in pirating from other countries and other sports. So anyway, um, Squeak, do you want to say
Yeah.
anything else about yourself, or is that pretty much, you know?
I mean, no, I'm here. I got a
Yeah.
football. I
How about
like
your avatar? What
the
about your
avatar is
avatar?
actually from a book. I'll get I'll give rights to do. It's from the called The Mouse Who Played Football. So it's a little excerpt from the illustrations from there. The little mouse who played football.
That's awesome.
It's a
Very
cute little
lovely.
book.
It is very cute. It is very adorable. So, okay, Squeaker. So let's now here comes the nice grinding part here with where we talk about the previous week's action and games. So, are you ready?
Oh, I got it. I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right. So, feel free to chime in whenever you want or as you want as we go through this lovely buffet of statistics. So, first game from last week we review is the Tennessee Volunteers win over Ball State 59-10. Uh, Hendon
That's
Hooker
a total score of 69.
69, yeah. And the quarterback Hooker. So, Hendon Hooker with 18 of 25 passes for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns. Leave it to you to, I love it. First thing off the bat, hey, stats matter. Stats are
Stats
important.
matter. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
What? So when it says time of possession, like what kind of
Mhm.
possession we do? Is this like a felony possession? Is this just a misdemeanor?
Well, some
Is that a
places,
different game? That's a different game, right?
well, I
Oh,
don't know. Some places have been known to have a lot of convicted criminals, and you could say it's like that. But this time of possession is how long they were on offense for the game. But that's not a bad point. I mean, there's been some uh, very interesting programs
I
that
mean,
have had a lot of.
that's a pretty even hold right there. I mean,
Yeah, that's a very the 10-second differential. You'll see some coming up that there's a lot longer of a differential, and sometimes that matters. Depending on the team, sometimes team hold the ball from the other one longer, and and to their advantage. that they
I
have
mean
better defense.
their rushing game is definitely Tennessee definitely smoked Ball State, but this
Mhm.
it's the first game too. That could have just been he had his Wheaties that morning and he's good to go.
Yeah.
But the turnovers for Ball State certainly didn't help. That's where I mean, if they would have had definitely more time with the ball if they hadn't had some.
Well, interesting because I was watching the game or listening. The first play of the game, Ball State they threw an interception deep in their own territory. So
Well,
one
isn't that
turnover
how
right
you're
off the
supposed to
bat.
play?
If you want to lose, if you want to give it to the other team to win.
so, so who do we
But
have
no,
next?
so just to recap, yeah, like you pointed, the offensive differential. I mean, Tennessee almost doubled in first downs, um, even though their time of possession was even. Uh, Hooker also ran for 2 touchdowns. Tennessee had over 200 yards rushing for the game, and pretty much this game turned out to be a tune-up game for Tennessee's game this coming week, Pittsburgh, which will be when we talk about in a little bit. Remember, Squeaka?
Yeah, but they'll be at Pittsburgh. This one was at Tennessee, so
Yeah,
they had home field advantage. Now, Homeboy's used to running on his own field, but let's see how he runs on Pittsburgh's.
Exactly. Well, we'll talk more about that in a bit. So we'll move on to some of the deadweight games in the league. Missouri beats Louisiana Tech, another Thursday night game. If you look, Missouri ran for over 300 yards on 50 rushing attempts, while holding Louisiana Tech to only 11 yards on the ground. But another case where Missouri ran up almost 600 yards of total offense. And you can see there's more turnovers, 3 for Louisiana Tech, 2 for Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, the stats are kind of comparable to the Ball State Tennessee. Again, we see this weird disparity in rushing yards.
Yep.
But as far as like passing and turnovers, I mean, it's the same kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we're going to see this a lot at home games. There's going to be a bigger rushing number at a home game.
And it depends on the offenses. We'll see some teams that pass more, whether they're home or away. But yeah, that's a good point that you make there. And a lot of times the rushing, in this case, 300 yards, and they had about 3 minutes, the ball 3 minutes longer than Louisiana Tech did. So a lot of the times you run the ball more, you're going to eat up more of the clock. So.
Well, and it also depends on how comfortable they are with passing too. I mean, if you look at the difference in passing for Missouri, like it's kind of even, but at the same time, they obviously don't really want to pass a whole lot. Well, and how many of these passes turned into interceptions or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And how many times did they throw the ball? Because you could throw only 5 times for 230 yards if they're all big plays.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. There's a comment I wanted to highlight. Ash says, "What the heck am I looking at?" Neil deGrasse Tyson could tell me about space-time, and I'd be like, seems legit, but this looks like the work of aliens.
It's American football. Of course it's aliens. Exactly. That's why we can't call it soccer, because it's not real.
And just trust the process. It will eventually make sense. So, oh, gosh. Hey. So we'll move on to great state of Texas, a Battle of Texas. The Texas A&M Aggies hosted Sam Houston. Texas A&M wins 31-0, but being a top 10 ranked team, this is a lot closer of a game. You would expect them to have won by a much larger margin. Even though they more than doubled in first downs and 500 yards, they still did only put up 31 points. Yes.
Well, I feel like this has always been like it's. From what I can remember, and I could be wrong because I haven't kept up with a lot of college football, but since the days of A&M versus UT, A&M has combated that. The UT's been the rushers and A&M's been the passers, and I could be wrong. Like I don't know what the stats have been for the past few years. I've been out of it for a long time, but I feel like my friends that are in it, that's what they always complain about. It's always a throwing versus running game with those two schools. And I mean, in these stats, like I said, I don't know if this is true or not, but these stats definitely, show that they're still in the throwing game for sure.
And with a coach with a more pro style passing offense, you're going to see that the quarterback passed for 364 yards.
Mm-hmm.
We got
and with the different receivers as well.
Yeah, 9 different receivers caught a pass in the game, 3 touchdowns, but 2 picks that hurt them. But one interesting thing that you bring up, the Texas A&M UT, the word is, I believe it's been approved that in a couple of years, University of Texas will be joining the SEC. reuniting them with Texas A&M along with Oklahoma. So
I feel
you'll
like
get
they floated that rumor. Like they keep passing that around.
no.
Like
I
that
think
was
it
a thing a
actually
couple of years ago too.
it,
Like they're
it
like,
was
oh yeah,
actually
it's back to we're back to it, and it's not happened.
oh, this time it's true. It's actually going to happen that the Longhorns and Oklahoma join the SEC, and
Oh, and Oklahoma. Oh, that's nice.
yeah, so you're going to get the natural rivalries back together that were lost years ago when Missouri and A&M left the conference. Looks like
Everything's true on the internet, Mrs.
yep, yep.
I could say I like football. And it was true.
2024. They're set. They're set to leave the Big 12 conference in 2024. So, but there was a big debate when A&M left the Big 12 conference. I think the legislature over there was trying to find some way to make the two schools play again, and the big heated rivalry, and this is one of the good things with that is having a rivalry like that, which is one of the beauties of college football. Those hated rivalries,
But we've always had the Red River Shootout. We've always had the Texas UT, the
Yeah,
OU Texas rivalry.
because they stayed in the Big 12 together, and that's why with them both moving, you can keep that Red River shootout going. It'd be like splitting Florida and Georgia and losing that annual neutral site game. But
I mean, y'all could become friends.
no, I don't think so. Not with Georgia ever.
Besties for resties.
All right, tell that to Texas A&M and Texas fans. See how that goes. So
I do all the time because I'm neutral. Like,
you're neutral.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, the good thing about neutral is you can irritate both sides.
I do actually.
Well, I love that discussion. Thank you. You're a Texas expert. I might have to call on you again.
Well, I don't know about expert. I just listen to other people complain about their teams.
Well, hey, just listening goes a long way. So, next game we have is Cincinnati and Arkansas, where the Razorbacks won 31-24 in a really tight game. Come down to end. Stats were very, very balanced, but if you can see, Cincinnati was more through the air. Arkansas balanced attack, running and passing.
There's their home. They're running, so.
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting. This is where the stats kind of go the other way, because even though Arkansas had more rushing yards, 111 than Cincinnati actually still had the ball for about 3 minutes longer. So Arkansas's quarterback, KJ Jefferson.
It's just faster runners, okay?
They're faster. Well, okay. Next thing you tell me they fly.
They don't fly? Don't they get on little brooms and chase after the ball? Or is that a different sport?
That might be something else. I'm not quite sure what that is, but
okay. I'm sure there was a sport I saw about brooms and something.
Curling uses brooms.
No, that's Canadians.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll leave that to the Canadians then. KJ Jefferson passed 18 attempts, 18 completions on 26 attempts for 223 yards, and he scored 3 touchdown passes through the air while running for another, which meant that he accounted for all 4 Arkansas touchdowns in the game. Ben Bryant, the quarterback for Cincinnati, was 26 of 43 for 325 yards, throwing 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Very penalized game. Probably was a long game. Both teams combined had 17 penalties for 128 yards.
That's not enough. They should have gotten more.
Listen, if you stick with me long enough and start watching the Gators a little bit more, you ain't seen penalties yet.
I think it should be like hockey where they slap them in a box and be like, all right, guys.
That's cool. I like the penalty box. That'd be have penalty box at the 50-yard line. How about that?
Yeah.
And then when it is over, they just run out. So, hey, what was supposed to be one of the highlight games of the week, featuring 2 top 25 teams, turned out to be a slaughter fest in Atlanta when the Georgia Bulldogs just routed the Oregon Ducks 49-3. You can see that Georgia rolled up almost 600 yards of offense.
That's ducking bad.
That's ducking bad. Yes, it is.
That's quackers.
Yeah, quackers. Yeah, quackers. Any cheese for that, quackers? But
I'm rolling cheese.
Maybe if they were playing Wisconsin instead of Georgia, but you know, it would have been a different game.
Yes, Mrs. Oregon ducked up.
Yes, there you go. By the way, Georgia's quarterback Stetson Bennett was 25 of 31 passes, 360 yards, 368 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Do you remember in the previous show what we talked about with him in his career?
No.
He started off at the University of Georgia as a walk-on, didn't play, transferred to junior college in Mississippi for a year, then transferred back to Georgia on scholarship, but was way down the depth chart. Well, one guy got hurt, another guy melted down on the field, and he got put in the starting position, and he's been the starting quarterback ever since. It's one of
Do you
those,
think that was a coincidence? Or, I mean, just saying.
honestly, it's really strange you ask that question. I have seen that happen so many times over my life that I think it's more a lot of being in the right place at the right time, if you know what I mean. You know, why did he transfer back to Georgia? He did.
I don't know. Oregon was not in the right place at the right time here.
No, they weren't. They were not. They definitely were not in the right place. And speaking of that, with Bo Nix was the former Auburn quarterback, which is in the SEC. It was 21 of 37, but he threw for 2 picks. And it's bad when your quarterback in that case is your leading rusher for less than 5 yards a carry. But like you said, about coincidence with that, Florida had a quarterback, Kerwin Bell, in the 80s. He was a walk-on. Nobody had ever heard of the guy. He was from a small town in Florida. It was just a one traffic light town. And the scholarship quarterback, one got hurt. The other one either got hurt or quit, or something happened. And they go into the first game of the year, and this walk-on from Mayo, Florida is made the starter against the University of Miami when everybody's like panicking, like we're going to get beat. And he did such a good job, and he became the starting quarterback since then. So I think sometimes it just depends on you being in the right place at the right time and getting the opportunity, you know. And I think that's what happened here with Stetson Bennett with that case. So, but you know, great question, that's Squeako. Thank you. Ole Miss and Troy, 28-10. There's not much to see here. This is just, you know, it's another there's worthless tune-up games. But as you can see, like we talked about, the time of possession really went heavily to Troy, even though they threw the ball. That's kind of, you would expect it to be the other way, but you know, still, they didn't score enough points, which is the name of the game. Zach Evans rushed for 130 yards on 20 carries for Ole Miss, while the quarterback Jackson Dart passed for 154 yards with a touchdown pass and an interception, while rushing for 40 yards.
You can have a lot of passes and still have a lot of time, just because if they're all incompletes, then you're going to have a lot of time on the clock because you're going to keep going. You know, you're going to have it's going to take a while. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you complete a lot of 2-yard. Yeah, you complete a lot of 2-yard passes, stay in bounds. The clock's going to keep running. You know, and
so
things like
you
that.
can have. I mean, you can have a high time of possession and a big passing game. Like, that's not unheard of.
No, but
I was more pointing out the fact that there's a lot of these home games that their rushing yards are high, just because it's a home game. I'm curious to see what these teams are going to do away games.
Yeah, like Ole Miss there. They ran for 200 more yards than Troy did. So, yep. We'll move on to Mercer at Auburn, another flyover game, basically. Another tune-up game. Auburn wins at home with almost 500 yards of offense, running for 285.
Yeah, again, running almost like 3 times as much. I mean.
Yep, exactly. TJ Finley passed for 112 yards with a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Tank Bigsby is all SEC running back, 147 yards and 2 touchdowns on 16 carries, almost 10 yards a carry. So, but again, to your point, there's a lot of rushing by the home team. We'll see that a lot. Some teams, though, will be different from that. So, you got anything else on Mercer and Auburn, Mercer Bears and Auburn Tigers? Or
no.
Okay, we'll move on.
No, my lack of facts is unbearable.
No, it's okay. There's not much you can say about some of those games like this. This is the game. This is the game. I can spend 20 minutes on this one here, Squeaka. You can't even talk about this game. The Florida Gators upset the 7th-ranked Utah Utes at home 29-26 last Saturday. Both teams combined for almost 900 yards of total offense. Again, you see Florida runs for 283 yards, more running at home than passing.
But not by much. Utah put up a good fight in their rushing game. It's not like it's been skewed like the other ones. It's not like 4 times as much. They put up a good fight. And a couple of these teams have put up a good fight on their away games.
And Anthony Richardson, the Gator quarterback, did it both throwing and running. He 17 of 24 passes, 168 yards. He ran for 106 yards, 3 touchdowns rushing, including a 45-yard run in the first half. He scored the game-winning touchdown on a 1-yard run with about 5 minutes left in the game. Utah's quarterback, Cam Rising, was 22 of 32 passes, threw for 216 yards, had a touchdown pass, but he threw one interception, a critical interception in the end zone with 17 seconds left that sealed the win for the Gators. The Gators had 3 runners with over 60 yards each. And in the game, Billy Napier earns his first win as Gators head coach, and he did it in his first game.
Is this his first game?
Yes, it's his first game. He had been coach at Louisiana Lafayette for 4 years.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I thought I recognized his name, but then I was like, I didn't know he was at a different school. I just recognized his name, so that's why I was like, it wasn't his first game. He's coached, but it was, it was a different school.
But the first at Florida, and in this game, the Gators, the win marks 33 consecutive home opener games that the Gators have won. That goes
but they can't keep that up.
33 years. Hey, next year will be 34. Well,
yeah, but that's great that you win your home opener. Win the rest of the ones too.
Well, they won their home opener last year and went in the toilet really quickly. So
exactly, you got to keep going. Whoop, whoop.
So you and I were in contact during this game. What did you think?
I think it was a volatile game as far as like they kept going back. Like it was a good back and forth game up until the last minute. And then, this friend of mine that was watching the game got really heated about how they were going to lose. And oh my God, how could Florida lose? And I'm like, they're not going to lose. And they're like, no, Utah's got it. There's only them. Like, they're going to get a touchdown. It's fine. And what happened? I don't remember what happened at the end of the game. I think they got a touchdown.
Gators got a touchdown, and then Utah threw the ball down, and I was like, Utah's going to score, and you're like, nope.
No, they're not. I knew they weren't going to score because there wasn't enough time, and they just, they choked when it's not the first time.
Yep, because all Utah really needed was a field goal at that point to tie it up for overtime. But hey, that's the breaks. That one timely interception. So.
Well, and I think I feel like the Florida defense actually did do a little bit of stalling. They kept them from advancing. How many there at the end of the last plays? How many downs were there? Goodness.
Yeah, and you brought up a point. One, it ran the clock down too, and they got the turnover. But also in the first half or in the third quarter, Utah had the ball inside the Gator 1-yard line, and the Gators held them out on 4 downs and stopped them for a goal line stand, and Utah got no points on that drive. Big key, and a good point there, because although Florida bent a lot, gave up a lot of yards and time of possession, at the critical times they did not give up the score. So, but hey, all right. Hey, great insight on that, Squeaker. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So we're going to get to some of these other less attractive games. Kentucky beats Miami of Ohio 37-13. Really, just you can see the stats. It's a case.
Oh wow! This time Kentucky got stomped at home, as far as rushing yards. I know they won, but
yeah. Well, one thing that happened is, as you see, Kentucky played without their starting running back Chris Rodriguez, who that didn't. Whether it's a suspension or not, they've been playing with terms and stuff, but they were out without their leading rusher. And they have a new quarterback, or a returning quarterback that throws the ball more. So,
yeah, but you need you need to do a little bit more work with your team. If just having one running back out gives you so much of a rushing deficit at home, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
you need to do some work with your running backs. No offense.
Absolutely. It's Mark Stoops' 60th win at the University of Kentucky, which ties the great Bear Bryant, who people only think of at Texas A&M and Alabama, but he spent time in Kentucky. That's phrased that like a prison sentence. But Bear Bryant has been the Wildcats' winningest coach until this game where it's tied. The next win for Mark Stoops will make him the Kentucky's winningest football coach. Kentucky led only 13-10 at the half, but opened the second half with a 100-yard kickoff return for touchdown. And Kentucky outscored Miami 24-3 in the second half.
Which is great on them that they got. I mean, they did. Yes, their passing game is strong, but and it may be that Miami's is they just can't catch interceptions and they've got their own issues. But you're not always going to have that luxury of being able to have a passing game. So no. I mean,
weather can affect it. It's storming weather. You can't hold the
that
football.
Slippery ball.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen plenty of those.
But that can affect the running backs too, like holding on to it and things like that. Like weather affects like pretty much all of them. But yes, it is harder to catch a wet ball.
Well, or throwing the ball. One of the things too is the spiral, the wobbles, things like that. The Gators had a quarterback many years ago where it was Danny Werfel was the quarterback, and wet ball games. I guess with the size of his hands, there were times when they had trouble throwing the balls. Because not everybody's allowed to deflate the balls, so.
We can't all be cool like Tom Brady.
Exactly, no.
And the Deflatriots.
Hey, love it. So anything else? We'll move on to the next game then. The big Elon at Vanderbilt game. Vanderbilt wins 42-31. You can see Elon actually had more offensive production than Vanderbilt. And more time of possession by about 10 minutes, but Vanderbilt still pulled out the win at home. Mike Wright, the quarterback for Vanderbilt, passing for 245 yards with 4 touchdowns, ran for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns, accounting for 6 touchdowns, marking a program record in a single game. Elon quarterback Bowman left the game before halftime. His replacement, McKay, was 19 of 32 for 333 yards and 2 touchdowns while running for another 2 touchdowns. So Vanderbilt has scored 105 points in 2 games in the 2022 season, whereas in the entire 12-game schedule in 2021, Vanderbilt scored 189 points. So only 84
they're
more
doing
points.
Better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, unless it stays here. If it stays at 105 points, okay, they're not doing better. But, I mean, so far they're doing better. And this is a pretty even game. So, I mean, I'm surprised they won by such a margin.
Yeah, and it was. You look at the stats and you would think that maybe Elon would have won this game, but... I
mean, it's almost a 10-point spread. So, I mean... That's amazing considering the numbers are almost, especially like the numbers are almost even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And with Elon having a more possession of the ball, you would think that they would have won.
Well, see, the game for Vanderbilt last week with Hawaii playing at Hawaii and this game with Elon, you sort of have to start wondering about, is Vanderbilt possibly for real this year? I don't want to say that quickly because these are not great teams that they played, but the Vanderbilt team of the last few years should have lost this game to Elon. It's that type of thing. So maybe they're turning the corner, but we'll just have to wait and see. So we'll move on to the Utah State at Alabama. We won't spend really any time here because Alabama, the number 1 team, took care of business at home. More than 4-time number of first downs, almost 600 yards.
So all of those stats are skewed. Yeah. I mean, that's obvious that it's a 0-55. Yeah. I mean, come on, look at that.
Yeah, exactly. And the returning Heisman winner, Bryce Young, passed for 195 yards, throwing for 5 touchdown passes, and was the team's leading rusher with 100 yards and another touchdown. You see Utah's State's 57 yards passing. No receiver had more than 2 catches, and only 1 receiver had more than 10 yards receiving.
But again, this is the Alabama's at home, and one of the things too about some of these, like going from Utah State to Alabama, there's elevation differences. It's not just weather; they practice in Utah, and they're going to a game in Alabama.
Well, let's go back to the Utah-Florida game, for instance. You could see.
Same thing.
Well, they had several Utah players cramping up in that Florida heat and humidity. Also, they were closed up. If you go back and watch the video, there was a Utah player puking on the field playing the game the whole time. So, yeah, those differences do make a difference a lot of times. In this case, though, I think it's just a matter of being out-talented and outclassed. This is what a lot of people call a paycheck game, which is a team like Utah State goes to get sacrificed, but they get a good six-figure payout for showing up. So, right. So, Mississippi State beats Memphis 49-23. These numbers are really skewed considering it's a 26-point win, but 21 difference in first downs, almost double the yardage, total yardage. Look here. 450, and I think to your point earlier about short passes and stuff to keep clock running, 450 yards passing from Mississippi State, yet they had the ball for over 41 minutes of the, like 2/3 of the game. So, Will Rogers was 38 of 49 passing for 450 yards, 5 touchdowns and an interception. He had his 5 touchdown passes were 9, two of them at 23 yards, a 33-yard and 35-yard touchdown passes. And in this game, Mississippi State had 12 players with at least 1 catch in the game. Anything about Memphis Tigers, Mississippi State Bulldogs?
No.
Okay. We'll keep moving on. Georgia State and South Carolina. The South Carolina Gamecocks win this one 35-14.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
There's not much to say about this either. I mean, so
it's my favorite team of all time.
Exactly. Oklahoma transfer Spencer Rattler was 23 of 37 for 227 yards, a touchdown and 2 picks. In this game, South Carolina special teams came up big, scoring 16 points, which are on 2 field goals and a 10-yard block punt return for a touchdown. So, anything else with that in Squeaker? Or I guess we keep moving on. Time of possession, about 11 minutes difference here. So you can see that South Carolina dominated that game from the beginning. And the last game of last week was the big game on Sunday night in New Orleans. Florida State and LSU, and Florida State pulls out the victory 24-23.
Poor LSU.
Oh, poor.
Oh. They're my neighbors. I got to root for them.
Well, there you go. Root for those neighbors. 10-minute difference of time of possession there. Jaden Daniels made his LSU debut. He played at Arizona State the last few years, passed for 323 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jordan Travis for FSU passed for 260 yards and 2 touchdowns. You know what's interesting about this game, Squeaka?
What?
That LSU was down 24-10 in the fourth quarter. They scored 2 touchdowns to rally back. They scored
and
the last.
Still wasn't enough.
They scored the last touchdown with no time remaining. So they're down 24-23. All they have to do is kick the PAT. FSU blocks it.
Oh, no.
So FSU,
why didn't they try for a 2-point conversion?
As a rule of thumb, when you get bigger like this and you're playing even competition, you would go for overtime. Just play it. Where each team would get the ball at least once. So that's normally the strategy. If you gamble, you go for 2. Say like if
not if they're. I mean, like they've had 2 turnovers. I mean, I would look at if they're obviously like intercepting or you get a lot of incompletes, I would not go for something that's going to put the ball in the air.
Well, one of the things that happens, say like in this game, LSU's more
Don't be throwing stuff.
Well, the LSU's more the home team here, so usually when you're at home, you play more conservatively, so you wouldn't do that. But if you're like say like Sam Houston was playing at Texas A&M, and if this is the situation, a small school like Sam Houston, what have you got to lose? You might go for 2 and try to win it and not play for overtime, because of various issues and stuff like that. Because there's no guarantee you're going to win it in overtime, but it's basically conservative coaching philosophy. The conservative way is to play for overtime, keep it tied, and go that way with that. So the let me see one thing real quick. Okay. Is everybody good out there? Are we still there on Twitch and YouTube? Just checking in with everybody, making sure we're still on live and having a good time with our friend Squeaka Mouse, who's showing a great knowledge of football tonight.
I don't know nothing. I know nothing.
You keep saying that, but you know more than
I'm with the missus. My favorite teams are the Beavers and Moorhead.
And we got matching hats for those. We like wearing them out down the street.
It should be the Moorhead State Beavers.
That's what you would think, wouldn't it? But it's not.
We could go as far as to say the Moorhead State Gamecocks. Yes? No?
Yeah?
Maybe?
Yeah? Either one.
Be more appropriate.
Either one of them, hey. Or the Moorhead Beaver State Gamecocks. But that's probably too many big words in there. So yours is probably much better than what I come up with. And to finalize, we'll wrap this part of our show up with the last little fact here is that FSU is 2-0 for the first time since 2016 when Jimbo Fisher was the coach at FSU. So that is the week that was, folks. And update the standing board, Vanderbilt is still on top, folks, after 2 weeks. No SEC games, but they're 2-0. They play more games than anybody else. So look at this, picture it, frame it, whatever, because it ain't going to last much longer. So
you don't know that. Don't be like that to Vanderbilt. Y'all keep rocking, VB. Y'all keep rocking. Don't listen to him. Wow.
Exactly.
So negative. Poor little Vanderbilt. What'd they do to you?
Oh, yeah. Ash, go to sleep, Ash. Have to. All right. Well, I'm going to take this down now for a second. We're going to go into another section of it.
More sections.
More questions. Questions from you. This is the part of the show where we end up talking to our special guests about, football and things that they like and memories and stuff. So, Squeaka.
Yes.
Do you have any favorite college football teams, or if not, let's even include NFL or pro teams?
Yeah, I do.
Can you tell
the
them?
Winning ones.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, except for those deflatriots, because that's not really winning. That's just ball manipulation, if you know what I mean.
I understand you're a big Cowboys fan too.
Oh, yes, because as we all know, that's not a logo, that's a rating.
Dun-dun-dun.
No, I'm not. I do confess I was a Cowboys fan back in the like Roger Staubach days.
Mm-hmm.
But I am not a Cowboys fan anymore. No. I haven't been for a long time.
And that's understandable. A lot of people have.
I'm a Packers girl.
Yeah, Packers. Oh, so Aaron Rodgers.
Hey. Oh, well, I was a Brett Favre girl before I was an Aaron Rodgers girl.
I don't doubt it. Mississippi, Southern Mississippi.
I don't know where he came from. I just know where I want him to go.
Oh, he had that look. Right. Well, I saw Brett Favre play a college game. He played for Southern Mississippi. I think it was 89, but they played FSU. And I remember that game because it was so hot and humid. They were carting people out. They ran out of water. This was like in 89, probably 89, I think. They ran out of water. The water fountains were like warm water. It was a horrible day for weather and stuff. And he led them back to upsetting the FSU that day. A very memorable game. I was there with my best buddy at the time, and at that time he was an FSU fan. And it was fun watching Meltdown. But
Well, I mean, they're the cheeseheads. Of course, I'm in. I'm in. I mean, yes, yes. I mean, if there was a
Gee,
team called the whatever mice, I might have a problem picking one. But the cheeseheads, it's a no. It's a no-brainer.
no brainer. I got you. There's no brainer for you on that one.
Yeah, college football, eh. I mean, sometimes I cheer for the teams that my friends are cheering for.
Hmm.
I've been to a UT game. I've gone to the Red River Shootout. I've gone to an A&M game. So like, yeah, I've gone to a couple of the local Texas games, but I'm not really a woo, let's go Texas fan.
Well, can I ask about that in terms of like our one of our questions about any football college games stand out to you or have special memories? What was your experience like at the Red River Shootout? What did
It
you
was
see?
loud
That with the
and
state
good.
fair
There was
too.
good food because the tailgating was amazing.
Hmm.
But it was just loud and I mean just a lot of screaming and jumping and screaming and like yeah.
Was it?
It was hot.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just an overzealous football game. That's pretty much what it is. And there's good tailgating, and I let them paint my face. I had a neat little UT sunburn for a while,
Oh,
but
that's that's awesome. Do they split the crowd half and half?
it usually yes, but no. Like you're gonna get there's some people that just based on the seating and where people buy, it's kind of a little mixed. But they try to usually just because of the rivalry they try
Hmm.
to split it half and half. But then there's, like I said, those latecomers who are like, I just want a ticket anywhere,
Right.
and they don't care.
That's like the Florida
And to
Georgia
answer
game.
Ash's question,
Hmm.
no, I don't care how close a friend of we are. I'm not taking you to a Patriots game.
No,
Nor can you take me to a Patriots game.
exactly. Nope, no Patriots.
Now
Did
the
they?
Bo Sox, on the other hand,
Yeah, both Sox.
we'll do the Bo Sox.
Hey, there you go. Hey, there's a chance for the Northeast. Hey,
Or the Boston Celtics. We'll do those too.
Celtic. I like the way you call it Celtics. Not everybody does, but that's cool. So, do you So, my understanding was the Red River Shootout. Is that where the Texas State Fair is also at the same time?
It's at the Cotton Bowl.
Okay, cool. Because I mean that the Florida Georgia game used to, for a number of years was around the fair too before they got kind of moved that out and stuff. But
Now, I
it's
don't know if
always.
they're still housed at the Cotton Bowl. I feel like there was something that happened, and they might play at Arlington now
Mm-hmm.
at the Cowboy Stadium, but I'm not for sure on that. I've been
Yeah.
out of the loop for a few years now,
Mm-hmm.
but the last time I heard they were still at the Cotton Bowl.
Well, that's just interesting to hear about it. Somebody that's actually been there. And if you've been to a UT game and an A&M game, which place is rowdier? Do you think?
Um, well, that's not a fair comparison
Okay.
because it's rowdy at the Red River Shootout. Because of the fact that it's the Red River Shootout, it's
Mhm.
just rowdy. But I mean, the A&M crew, like they're really. I mean, they're A&M. They're steeped in tradition. There's tradition UT, but A&M, they are proud. They are so proud. Like they have the bonfire. Well, they just started the bonfire again
Mm-hmm.
after what happened in '99. So they just started that again. But they're very, very
Mm-hmm.
football.
Oh yeah.
So I haven't done a true home game at UT, so I don't know who's rowdier. But
Okay, I got you.
it
That's
was. I mean, you are serious when you're supposed to be serious at A&M. You are rowdy when you're supposed to be rowdy. Like they take it serious.
there's a lot of hugging and waving back and forth. I think at A&M with their chants or whatever they do. It's kind of interesting. So okay, well, hey, thank you. I'm always on the lookout for people that know anything from Texas because it's I'm stuck on the East Coast. I don't know much about what's out that way. But,
Well, you need to just drive around and go to different college football games.
hey, probably need to do that one day. Might
Like
have
the
a reason to go
traveling
to a UT
footballer.
game. Yeah, you have a reason to go to a UT game or maybe even A&M game one day. So let me ask you this: what types of things about football, and if you can make it about the college football experience you've had, do you really like or capture your interest? It could be things that not even football, like bands, cheerleaders, the
The
tailgating.
booty slapping. Oh wait,
Uh,
hold
that's
on.
fine.
The the elaborate, beautiful uniforms, especially the pants.
Mm,
Is
all
that what I'm
right.
supposed to say?
You are free to say whatever you want to, Squeaka. The
I
platform is
like
yours tonight.
I like the other parts of football, especially in college football, because you don't get this a lot in professional football, is the pageantry. I love the band and the twirlers and
Hmm.
the like the halftime show of the like the dance teams and things like that. I like the halftime pageantry where the band gets out there and does their little routine with, you know what I mean, with their corps
Hmm.
and stuff and the flag corps. And it's just so beautiful. It's not like a NFL halftime show.
Right. It's like very
It's and
corporate, very.
I love that pageantry. I love that performance in the middle.
Mhm. No, I'm right there with you. It makes a lot of sense, and it seems like it gets the crowd more into it with their, the standard cheers and standard little musical shorts and stuff like that they do.
Well, it just makes football about more. Like it makes it the band. It makes it the the flag corps. It makes it the drill team. It makes it more than just these guys throwing around football. It incorporates the whole of the school. And that's I mean,
I
I just like that more than I like an NFL.
I agree with everything you say there. A lot of those type of things are what attracted me to college football. The bands, especially, and especially when you can get a good fight song. If you get a good fight song, then you can have a lot of fun with it. You know, some of the alma maters and different things, and it's really cool. I was actually at a college basketball game, and I kept thinking, like, why are they playing the Munster song? And then somebody had to tell me it was that song, Uma Thurman. I was like, that's a Munster song. Anyway, but I'm old, Squeaky. You know that, right?
I mean, you're only as old as you feel.
I guess so. So let me ask you this question: we're going to get closer into talking about previewing the games for next week and into the picks.
Yes,
When you have to pick a football team to win or one to
yes.
follow, what type of things do you consider when you make your choice of teams?
Okay, so for professional football team, I chose the one that I follow. I follow the Green Bay Packers just because one of my best friends is a Packer, big, huge cheesehead. And I mean, it's cheese. It comes down to cheese. Like we all know that rules the world. That's it's about the cheese. As far as college football teams, I pick the one that is the antithesis of whoever I'm talking to. Like all my UT friends, I'm like, oh yeah, man, OU is the best, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or like whoever is their arch nemesis, then I'm like, yeah, that's my team right there,
Absolutely.
because I'm a butt.
Hey, you like to stir that pot. You like to keep everybody jumping. Yeah.
No, it's because I really don't know enough to care or to say anything intelligent. So I'm just gonna be like, who do they hate again? Oh yeah, that's my team.
There you go.
That's
That's
that's it right there.
hey, it gotta be fun though. You have a lot of fun with that. Well, awesome, awesome. Anything else you want to say about football? I mean, that's the set questions I had.
No, I mean,
Look,
I don't
awesome.
know anything about football, so that's all I got to say.
Keep saying that, but you know more than a lot of people. So,
I did.
okay.
I mean, I confess, I did play football in high school, but that was like 100 and something years ago. So
You played football in
I,
high school.
I did.
What did you do?
I was actually like they called me special teams. I only
Mm-hmm.
went out every now and then because I can pass with both hands. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lefty and a righty, so I mean, I would just go out every now and then. And I mostly did just passing game. I never actually rushed or anything like that. I could sprint.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I was then they had this one play. Oh my god, it was so embarrassing. So I was like 5'2" and like 100 pounds soaking wet. And
Mm-hmm.
they decided when they found out I was a girl, they're like, ha ha ha. And I was like, yeah, 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 whatever. So they like one time this really big guy, John, he decided to tackle me because it was funny. And then they knew I was super padded. Like I had pads under my pads because they also tried to bulk me up to make me look legit. Like I also wore a cup, even though I didn't need one
Right.
because I needed to look legit. They were trying to, I wasn't allowed to take my helmet off during games. I'd be legit. And so he tackled me, and then he realized like he could pick me up. And I was like, don't do that ever again, John. And he goes, no, this is nice. And we were doing a scrimmage once, and he was like, oh, watch this. So he picks me up and throws me into the end zone. And I'm like, that was not funny. And the coach was like, that's a touchdown. And you see the light bulb come on their faces, like a little row of people like, hey, 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 hey. And I'm like, no. I'm laying there and my butt is hurting. I'm like, no, this is not, no, I'm not agreeing to this. No, I didn't get to agree. So, like when we were at goal line, they would literally go out there, and I would have to go out there for this play. They would sack me into the end zone. No, that is not an appropriate play, guys. It counts.
Did they ever try it again?
Wait, I did it a total of like 5 times.
Wow.
One
real
time
games?
in real games. One time I
Wow.
was blocked. Somebody from the opposing team caught me. Like
That's an interception of a player, not a ball.
They like caught me. It was just really weird. And I was like, okay, that was strange. That was painful too, because the way they caught me and then threw me on the ground, and then somebody tripped over me and sat on me, that was painful. So I did it like 5. I mean, 4 of them were complete, and then the 5th, there was a 5th time we tried it that was not. So we did it about 5 times, and then, but when we got to district level play, because it was starting to go into the playoffs, this is a time when girls were still kind of iffy for football, and they didn't want it to cost them the title, so they were like, that's it, you're not playing anymore. So I didn't play.
No. But at least you got the respect and you got to play in there for a while, though. That's really.
I was just there for the booty slapping.
Hey, why not? Hey, you're one of the guys at that point. Hey, that's awesome. But hey, thanks for sharing that story. I mean, that's awesome to hear. So
yeah, that's my football story.
Hey, it's a great story. Great story. Hopefully, people watch this also later or replay, and they can hear your story, Squeaka.
They're gonna be like, that weirdo.
Maybe take it and clip it and play it yourself. But anyway, thanks for sharing that one. It's really nice that you did that. So how about we move on to our next section?
All right, throw it down. What do we got?
Moving forward. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to start reviewing next week's games, previewing next week's games. But what we're going to do first is we're going to take a look at this week's AP Top 25, where we have 8 SEC teams in the top 25, of course, led by Alabama and Georgia, and A&M up at 6. Arkansas, Kentucky, Ole Miss stayed in the poll at about the same roughly positions, but the big spot was Florida entering the poll all the way up at number 12 after the win over Utah. Huge jump with that. So that's pretty much the league in a nutshell for the AP Top 25. Then there's a coaches poll here. Only 7. Tennessee did not make the coaches poll, though. But you can see 1, 2, and 6, the Alabama, Georgia, A&M. But in this case, Arkansas, Kentucky, Ole Miss about the same, but Florida did not come in as high as it did in the AP poll. So,
well, that's because they know. They know.
I'm going to make you a Gator fan yet this week.
They know. No, you're not. No.
Yes, I am.
Nope.
Yes, I am.
Nope.
So,
who's your arch rival?
Georgia.
Okay, I'm a Georgia fan.
Wow.
Told you that's how it works around here.
Oh, no, the missus will love you. The missus will love you. Yang will love you. Oh, my gosh. Everybody.
Oh, my gosh. Ash hates the Patriots? Oh, I love the Patriots now.
There you go. They're right there. Yes, you do.
But he has to really hate them for me to really love them.
Exactly. It's all proportional.
I don't know why I read that as Go Georgia Bulldozers.
Well, the way they're playing this year, they might be the Bulldozers. But yeah. Hey.
That's the coolest mascot ever. I want to be a bulldozer.
That would be cool. That would be good, especially if you're an offensive line. Yeah, bring bulldozers to Fortnite too. Yeah.
I'm like, I want to. That's it. I'm gonna make my own. I'm gonna make my own construction themed. Like, I'm not gonna have the SEC. I'm gonna have the CEC, the Construction Eastern Conference.
Hey, that's good. Good originality. That's awesome.
Have
Oh,
the Construction Western Conference.
absolutely. Well, those are the polls. So we'll jump into this week's games. The first one of the big one of the week is number one, Alabama plays at Texas Longhorns. Both teams are 1-0. Texas holds an overall series lead of 7-1-1. Alabama's only win against Texas was in 2010 in the Bowl Championship National Championship game. So talk about your one win being convenient. And do you know what the 7-1-1? Do you know what the second one means, Squeaka?
It's a just in case. It's like a flat tire. It's like a spare in the back of the trunk. So if you need that special one to go to like a win or whatever, because you're really sucking, they throw it down.
Ash, she also then said it's the conditional. If you love it, she hates it, and it goes the opposite way. So, and hey, Liam Gray Wolf.
What's up,
Hey,
Liam?
guy, how are you tonight? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. So no, the
it's
one,
right. It's a spare
folks, is
tire.
a tie. Yeah, it's a tie. Yeah, it's a spare tire. It's a tie, which you do not see anymore because back in the 90s they ended the ties and instituted overtime. And
Those
when
damn
you see a
90s.
coach like Nick, I like ties because then you wouldn't have the Auburn coach Pat Tie Dye who would kick a field goal just to end a game in a tie instead of trying to win it. So that type of thing. Ash, give it up though. Ash, no, it's not Baxi. She said she's going to be the opposite. So as much as you love her, hate, she goes the other way.
So I decided to grab a weird fact since I don't know nothing about football. So
Sure.
Here's your weird fact for Texas.
Okay.
So Bevo is the name of their mascot, right? The Longhorn. And it's because it's shortened from the word beeve, which is the plural form of beef and slang for a cow that is about to become food. I don't know why that's a good name for a mascot now. I wouldn't want my mascot's name to be I'm Almost Food, but hey.
Oh my gosh.
Bevo.
Wow. I never knew that, Squeaka.
Yes.
I never knew that.
There was an urban legend that it was because of A&M, but it's not. It's not. It's some dude wrote that his name is Bevo, and it got stuck that way, and that's where it's from. It's shortened from the word beeve, which is beef, and a cow that's about to become food. So yeah, wow. I don't know if that bodes well for Texas, but hey.
And you tell me you don't know anything, even if you might not know.
I Googled.
You know how to research. You know how to research, and that's half the battle. That's half the battle. And Liam, my grandmother, God rest her soul, she was Nebraska Cornhuskers all the way.
I've got some friends that are Huskers. I mean, they pull out the red in all the time. Like, that's their thing. Well, they're torn now. They're TCU Huskers family, so.
Kind of like that's Georgia, Florida. But, you know what the sad thing is? I feel for the Nebraskas. I don't know if you follow Nebraska much, but they talk about bad years. They used to be a proud team in the 80s, 90s, winning every year all the time. And they've fallen on hard times in recent years. And they've been a loyal, massively loyal and dedicated fan base, but they've had a long dry spell after they had so much success for so long. So, and who knows what's going to happen with them this year. So make or break coach for their coach. It was a former Nebraska quarterback too. So, yeah. Hey, see, we can even talk Big 12 football if we need to a little bit. So, hey, love it. Let's keep it going. Last week, Alabama beat Utah State 55-0. Texas is coming off a win over Louisiana Monroe 52-10. Texas has won their last two games at home. This game marks Steve Sarkisian playing as head coach of Texas, going against his former boss Nick Saban of Alabama. And Nick Saban generally dominates against his former assistants up until last year when Jimbo Fisher finally managed to win with Texas A&M against Alabama. So Squeaky, you got anything else to add in on this one with Alabama going to Texas? I mean, what should Alabama fans expect at Austin?
Lots of traffic.
Lots of traffic. Okay, that's a good
Austin
one.
is a poorly planned city. Like they were like, hey, we're gonna get 500,000 more people. Should we do anything about this? Nah, we good. Okay. We're gonna get 100,000, a million more people. Should we do anything about it? Nah, we good. You know,
Hey,
maybe we should fix this highway and make it a little bigger. But we can't make it bigger because we got these salamanders to protect. And it's like, oh my goodness, guys, y'all really should have planned better.
well,
My favorite part is, do they have loop highways in Florida?
loop highways. What are those?
Where it's a highway that goes all the way around a city?
Yeah, we call them beltways. Like
Beltway.
like I-10. Well, like some would have like a 110 to be I-10 to go around, or 95 to go north south. 295 goes around. Yeah, so yeah, we do have that.
Okay, so here we call them loops instead of beltways. And there's like Loop 635 in Dallas, and it goes all the way around Dallas. There's Loop 820 in Fort Worth. It goes all the way around. Same thing, Houston's got one. And so you get on this thing, and you can make a circle around the town in case you get lost or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Austin has Loop 1. And you think to yourself, you're used to these beltways and loops, and you're like, that's great. If I get lost, I'm just going to circle this bad boy around and back up on the major highway.
Mm-hmm.
No. Our loop is a straight line.
How's a loop a straight line?
I don't know. Welcome to Austin.
Wow. Well, on that note, let's say hi to Whoopa Troopa out there.
Whoopa!
Hey, who also says Texas sucks orange down.
It sure does.
And I don't know about this, but Austin has a lot of homeless people. Like a lot. Oh.
I don't know what our numbers are at right now, but yeah, we got a good number of them. We got a few. I don't think we've got as much as some parts of California yet, but we've got a good number of them.
Leave it to Whoopa coming in throwing down already, and then Liam's out here laughing. So,
yeah, there you go. Expect homeless people, bad traffic, and good barbecue.
Well, you talk about pre-planned. That's happened in a lot of Florida cities. Is growth? Let's put everybody in here, and roads. Well, we'll build them later. So
yeah,
it seems to be the way that things happen. Okay, so that's that game. Next game on the menu is South Carolina Gamecocks. Hey, why don't you announce this one, Squeaka?
Okay, do you make it like that? South Carolina Gamecocks at Arkansas Razorbacks.
There you go.
That wasn't always their mascot. They didn't always have a hog.
Really?
They used to be known as the Cardinals.
Really?
In 1909. They had a win against LSU. And their coach said his players played like a bunch of Razorback hogs. And the name stuck.
Folks, this lady keeps telling me she knows nothing about college football.
I Googled all of this.
I don't care. You Google some good stuff.
I Googled weird facts about Arkansas football. That's what I got.
That is awesome, though. But you know what? That's what we're here for, though, Squeaka. We're here to educate people and teach people. Mrs. had some facts like that last week. You're here this week. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome. Because I'm sitting here boring facts and all, and y'all come up with some great information with people. So let's see. Whoopa UT is still Big 12 now. Got to get my insults with a can. Hey, Whoopa, in about 2 years, you'll get to throw the insults at me. I have no idea if Texas, how much Florida and Texas will play, but hey, we'll have some fun with that. Ash has some highways like that. We call them ring roads. Usual circle the city centers. Massive one that's the M25 that circles all of London. It's known as the London Orbital. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh my God, I just want to go and drive on that and be like, I orbited London. I'm the London satellite. Like, I would drive it incorrectly because I'm a horrible American and would try to get on the wrong side of the road.
I orbited your town. I guess loop is a new term for loopy people that make straight lines. Call them loops. That's cool. Yep. And Lupa says he feels smarter already. Awesome. So,
I mean, I did do that in the UK. I fully confess. I used a crosswalk when I wasn't supposed to, and my friend like yanked me back so hard that I fell to my butt. I was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like throwing my arms up at this person, like, "Why are they trying to run me over? You can't make a left turn on a red. They have the right of way. He can't." And my friend was like, "Yes, you can. This is England. We drive on the left side of the road. They make left turns on red all the time."
oh man, well,
I was like, "Oh snap!"
if I ever get to London, then I'll make sure I remember that.
He's like, "You don't get to cross the road unassisted ever again."
That is awesome. See, we're learning all kinds of stuff here tonight, not just football. Both teams are 1-0. Arkansas is ranked 16th in the country. Arkansas leads us overall series 13-10. South Carolina has won the last three meetings. They last met in 2017 when South Carolina won 48-27. They're coming off wins both teams. South Carolina beat Georgia State 35-14. Arkansas beat Cincinnati 31-24. And Arkansas, Pig Suey, has won their last four games at home. But
aren't they special?
the Arkansas Cardinals now are.
Yeah.
That is
Well, that's
awesome.
why they're red and white. I mean, they were Cardinals.
That is awesome, though. That's really cool. That's we could have found that out. So,
I just googled it. I really.
I'm sitting here focused on numbers and stuff, and you're like the missus. Y'all get the good, cool stuff that few people ever know about.
So what do we got next? Missouri.
We got Missouri, Kansas State. That's battle of SEC Big 12. We'll see what happens with that.
I just accidentally closed my window.
No, cool. Good job.
I know, right?
Yeah. It'll be cooler. Hopefully. Wake Forest will be on the road at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, that's game. This actually is an interesting game of Wake Forest 1-0 and Vanderbilt 2-0. Wake Forest is ranked 23rd in the country, but Vanderbilt leads the overall series 10-6. And the series dates back to 1964. Vanderbilt has won the last three games in the matchup. The last win was 2013. Vanderbilt won 23-21. Wake Forest comes off the victory over VMI, the Virginia Military Institute, 44-10. Vanderbilt has beaten Hawaii and Elon last week, beating Elon 42-31. Questions here is, can Vanderbilt? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. What's the question?
The question here is that can Vanderbilt's explosive offense continue? I
don't know. Because before the game, they have before their homecoming games at Wake Forest, and they may do this for other ones if they want good luck, but for sure before homecoming, they burn the opposing team's mascot.
Wow.
So just saying, Wake Forest is brutal. They put things on fire, and I'm down with the team that's on fire.
Oh man, the talk of West Virginia, and I think it's certain matchups, but West Virginia was known for burning couches up there. Before. Yeah. I mean, seriously, burning couches everywhere. So it's like, oh my gosh, people take the college football very seriously. So, so can Vanderbilt's offense continue with it? Also, Wake Forest starting quarterback will be back. Has been cleared to play. Sam Hartman. He had been suffering from blood clots, which caused him to be out of football for a couple of weeks. So, probably an even game now, considering how Vanderbilt has started. But at first of the year, this looked like an easy Wake Forest win, but could be tough on the road with this one. Let's see. Let's see this. Missouri, heard that. Mizzou, yep, Mizzou. They call them Mizzou. Mizzou grew up around a lot of them. Let's see. Luther Burden has own Chips on soup here. My coworkers already bought at least 3 bags of them. And yeah, Mrs. looked up all these fight song things last week. So she knows about all the fight songs. So, and you got the mascots. That's cool. And we'll move on to the next game, Squeaker. Do you have anything? Make sure you chime up with this when you're ready. Tennessee Volunteers at the Pitt Panthers. Number 24 Tennessee is at number 17 Pitt. Both are 1-0. Pittsburgh leads the series total 3-0. Believe it or not, Tennessee has never beat Pitt. But what is interesting this weekend is part of the Johnny Majors Classic. Well, Johnny Majors is an old-time football coach, passed away years ago. He actually coached at both schools. He coached from the University of Tennessee from 1977 to 1992, and while he was at Pittsburgh from 1973 to 76, and then went back to Pittsburgh 93 to 96. So both schools agreed. We called it a Johnny Majors Classic. Last year the game was in Tennessee. This year it's at Pittsburgh. Tennessee beat Ball State 59-10, while Pitt beat West Virginia 38-31 in the backyard brawl. Looks like West Virginia wouldn't be burning couches after that one.
Well, they used to be the Western University of Pennsylvania.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And they're the Panthers because the Panthers used to be indigenous to the Pittsburgh region.
Oh, very interesting to know. That's a high quality stuff you get here at this show.
Google, right? Man, Google.
My boss at work keeps telling me Google's a powerful thing, but I still try to fight it half the time. But hey, so Pitt has won its last 3 home games, so they're on a streak at home. So anything you got? I thank you for the contributions on the Panthers and what the previous name was. But anything you want to say specifically on this game?
I mean, no. I mean, not really. Tennessee's cool because they're orange. Like, those are color. No, I don't really have anything.
All right, just leaving it there. Well, we're going to go through a couple of these pretty quickly because there's not a lot to be said. Another paycheck game, Appalachian State at Texas A&M. Although Appalachian State can get crazy on people. Last week they lost to North Carolina in a wild shootout by missing a 2-point conversion at the end, but it was a 63-61 game, if you can believe that. It was down to the wire. I mean, that like 120 points. It ended up 63-61. North Carolina was at Appalachian State. Appalachian State scored 40 points in the fourth quarter alone. So could they play at Texas A&M? It just depends on if they can produce offensively. A&M did not do well on offense against Sam Houston, so we'll see what happens here. Any more love for Texas A&M, or should we put them in the rearview mirror, Squeaka?
I mean, gig them, I guess. They had their mascot Ravioli. I never say her name right.
Reveille.
Is a Reveille. Thank you. I never say it right, and I get made fun of all the time. But it's a female collie. It wasn't always a female collie. But there have been dogs donated that have taken the place of Reveille over the years, and one of them was from Florida.
Oh, really? Wow. But that's
like Ohio and Kansas and Oklahoma. But there was a Florida one. Yeah.
See, I like when I love the way you're bringing this type of stuff in because this is cool. I mean, I'm focused on they have a tradition of the 12th man, which is a walk-on, gets to be on the special team. So,
I mean, I could give you numbers if you want numbers. On October 11th, 2014, the Aggies shattered school, SEC, and Texas state records for attendance for the game against Ole Miss. 110,633 fans packed onto Kyle Field, breaking Texas A&M's own school and state record set 2 weeks prior against Rice, as well as the previous SEC record of 109,061 set in 2004 at Neyland Stadium.
Yep.
There's some numbers for you, right?
That's some dang good numbers. Well, I tell you what, I tell you what, and I might get in trouble, but I tell you what, they sure don't know what 50% crowd size is. But anyway, I won't stay on that very long. Appalachian State are legend, yes, because Michigan many years ago. So, and Squeaka,
yes.
Do you have a favorite college football team?
I sure do. What's your favorite team, Whoopa?
You said if you give a mouse a football. What's your favorite team, Whoopa?
Yeah, tell me what your favorite team is.
No.
Give a mouse a football, try to eat it. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't try to eat
football.
football.
Well, we got a surprise later.
I know.
Mm-hmm. We're getting shy there. We'll
I
move
know.
on till he responds. But hey, he might have been prepared for that. But hey, hey, he's like, well, no, Whooper, you got to answer the guest.
There's a system.
There's a
They got
system.
a system.
The guest has a system. So, well, we're waiting for Whooper to say. My guess is you probably take any of the Big 12 teams, pick one, and
The
you might
Florida
get lucky.
Peacocks. That's my favorite team.
Exactly. Well, we're going to go Samford at Georgia. This is definitely a paycheck game because Georgia is not Florida. Samford did some damage on them last year.
For real? You're a Baylor Bear?
Wow. Hey.
Oh, wow. I got a scholarship to there. I almost went to school. I almost was a Baylor Bear. Weird fact. Oh, my God. That's so strange. I was a Bobcat, though, for a while. I did actually go to Bobcat Land.
Was that Texas State?
Texas State. It was Southwest Texas at the time that I went, but it's Texas State now.
Yep. Well, that's awesome. Oh, so Squeaka, you're a Baylor fan, right?
We could have been. No, actually, no. I don't really have a favorite college team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I almost went to Baylor. Wow.
I'm still going to try to make.
We could have been Baylor buddies. I couldn't have existed at Baylor at the same time Whoopa did. I would have been too in awe. I would have missed all my classes and just followed Whoopa around.
Hey, Job of the Whoop. Hey, welcome in. Hey, we got a Texas A&M Aggie.
Woo, woo, gig 'em.
Oh, man, we're having all kind of people showing up now. Thank you for coming. Hey, don't forget.
Sorry about your team sucking. I mean, yay, go Aggies. I mean.
Hey, I'm not a fan of A&M either being a Gator. So, but hey, I love football. Glad you're here, though. Glad you're here. And, everybody's welcome and love to hear the stories and all. And if you like it, follow if you're on the Twitch side, subscribe, like on the YouTube side. I mean, it helps. And, thank you for all y'all being here and get the word out. And especially our great guest tonight that is so fascinating with the stories and the research.
I didn't look up facts about these. These weren't highlighted.
Well, I don't care. It's like you're coming up with some really good information. It's really the stuff people like to hear too. It's really
gotta Google faster. Goodness gracious, you're making me work.
Well, then that's my delegation is my motto. Well, let's get through the rest of these games because we're going to be long enough on this next one because I'm a Gator fan. Kentucky at Florida. Florida is 12 in one poll, 19 in the other. Kentucky is ranked 20th. Both are 1-0. This is a long-lived series. UF leads the series 53-19. The longest winning streak was the Gators over Kentucky for 31 games. They won from 1987 through 2017. The longest Kentucky streak. That's it.
All you got? That's not a streak. I'm just kidding.
Well, hey, Kentucky's streak is a big 4 games. Hey, from 1948 to 1951, before any of us were born.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I was around back then.
No, you're not. You're 30. You're in your 30s. I keep
197 years old.
No, you're not. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Let's see. In the chat, Upa said, "I'm not exciting. Just want the classes sat in my bed. Struggle realizing that Texas is hot as balls." Hey, I need to visit Texas. I really do, because I got to compare it to Florida, and you got to come to Florida and compare it to Texas, because it's, all that stuff. So, the only way it's like when we went to Vegas, experience it is the real thing. Yeah, Aggies need to shape up.
They do. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Dadman, I am one that loves to butter up the guest. It's all about the guest. So, yeah. And Squeaka's doing a fine job with Google.
Yeah, me and Google, we tight.
Exactly. Well,
I'd take Google to a Patriots game.
There you go. There you go. See, Squeaka lays down all this kind of cool stuff, and I'm back to the boring stats. But hey, we'll get through it here. The Gators are 8-2 in the last 10 matchups, but the teams have split the last 4 games 2-2. The first matchup was in was on November 29th, 1917, when Kentucky won 52-0.
Oh, I remember that game.
Yeah, exactly. Well, man, you're just a whippersnapper, aren't you? So, Kentucky beat Miami of Ohio, as we said earlier, 37-13, and Florida beat the number 7 Utah at home 29-26 on that last second interception. Florida has won its last 5 games at home. To me, at this point, anything with Florida, and I've said in the previous show that Florida, to me, is the X factor in the SEC East. Between Florida, Kentucky, and Tennessee, any of the 3 could finish second. And the key to me is the Gators quarterback play specifically. Last week, Anthony Richardson did a fine job against Utah. Didn't turn the ball over. So that was a key factor into the win. While the defense gave up a lot of ground to Utah, they did not break at times with a winning interception and another goal line stand in the second half to keep Utah from scoring. Kentucky, my personal experience with this series is how well does Kentucky run the ball? We know that they threw for 350 yards last game, but if Kentucky can run the ball effectively against the Gators, they generally can do well against them. Last week they only had 50 yards, but they didn't have the starting running back. Will he be back this week? Who knows? Those questions we'll know Saturday. So let's see. Go through the chat a little more. Florida's hot. More of a wet heat. Yes.
Wet heat. I'll show you. Never mind.
I wish I had that wet heat because I like the wet heat I had the other day was not fun. Yeah. It depends how you define that word. Ash. We shocked Ash. Ash, I think you're flirting. No.
Bonked me, baby. He's got bonked. Bonk,
you got bonked? Oh, bonk, man. Bonk. There you go. Well, see, like Rip also said, you keep saying, you say you use Google. Not sure it's a healthy relationship.
It's not. It's really not.
Well, let's finish up real quick for these matchups, and we get in the last section with our picks. Central Markets, Arkansas, Mississippi. Another paycheck game. San Jose State comes from the West Coast at Auburn and Southern.
I want a paycheck game.
Oh yeah, 6 figures, damn straight. I go get my ass kicked for a while for 6 figures.
I'd let them throw me over for that.
All the time. Throw me, baby, throw me. Or as Whoopa would say, bonk me, bonk me.
Bonk me.
And then the final game of the week, and that's involving SEC teams, are Mississippi State Bulldogs and Arizona Wildcats. Personally, I love West Coast football games. I like, me, Squeak. I don't want to go to bed, so I love West Coast football going to 2 a.m. This could be a fun game to watch if Arizona can play offense like they did last week with Mississippi State's offense. Watch out for this game. If you like staying up late, that could be one to watch. All right. So, and anyway, that goes through our section of the previewing for next week. So now we're going to the section with the picks that Mrs. Dadman and the guests pick against me. So do you want to see where we stand, Squeaka?
Yeah.
Okay. Guests got to make up some ground and each guest has their own methodology for picking. They're allowed to pick whatever it has. It does not have to be according to lines or anything else. And specifically, I'm not a gambling site. Don't trust me to do anything. If you don't trust me to do anything with that stuff. This is purely for fun, having a good time, and just if you wanted to pick by throwing a darts at a dartboard, that's fine too. Don't rely on me for any professional advice. I'm just a low-level joining the Sector 7G, so just take it for what it's worth. So here's where we are so far. I was 13-1 last week, and Mrs. Dadman was 8-6. Of course, remember her methodology used bands, fight songs. She had a scoring system, an actual scoring system to pick winners and losers.
Well, that's because she's legit cool.
That's why I want people like you and her, because y'all are cool. Y'all do
No, I
things to get
didn't
the
score
book.
the way. I didn't. No, I didn't.
Yeah, but you know what? Wait till they
What
have
was the one? Yeah, what was your one loss? Which one did you mess up?
FSU LSU.
Ha ha ha. Who did you root for?
I took LSU,
See,
so they went at home.
that's what you should never, because the L stands for loser.
Listen, yeah, but FSU stands for Free Shoes University. Many years ago, when they had all the players stealing shoes out of a Foot Locker, so they got the name Free Shoes University. So just two ways. So wait a second. Whoopa, I'm betting my entire life savings on whatever you choose, Dadman. You better be. Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh no. Please don't come. I got a wife and kids. I can't. I'm not disposable yet. What was it? Yep, the LSU game. Yeah, exactly. That was. See, and FSU has been bad the last couple of years. I did not see them playing like they did last week against LSU. So right. Are you ready?
I'm ready. All what right. am I doing?
We are going to show our picks this week.
Oh, Snapdragons. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, Alabama at Texas. Would you like to go ahead and introduce the first picker?
Oh yeah. Okay, so I was at. I mean, I put this on briefly on the Bird app, but so my dad's in the hospital right now, and I was out hanging out with him this past weekend, and just trying to make him laugh. He's into football. He's into college football. He's into NFL football. He's coached football. Like he's into football, and so I was like, hey, I'm doing this show with a friend of mine, and so you're going to throw down these teams and tell me why. And I didn't get a lot of good whys out of him, but he at least gave me some picks. So we've got the Mouse Father picking some teams too. We'll call him Crunch.
The Mouse Father, also known as
Mouse Father.
Well, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Do you need me to tell you why I picked my picks the way that did too?
Well, let me show his pick first. We're going to show his pick, then your pick, then my pick.
Okay.
And then when we do, you'll have to explain your.
I'll explain mine after.
Yeah. All right. So in the first game, the Mouse Father takes Texas against Alabama at home.
Yeah, because they're at home. He said, "Because they're at home." Because they're at home.
Well, you never know. I mean, you never know. You always got to play the game. And one bad day, you could knock off Alabama. So, got to play the game.
He's secretly a UT fan, but he won't say that out loud. If he is, he has a flag in his room. But they're at home. That's what
okay. Well, Squeaka, next one will be your pick. Do you want me to go ahead and show your pick and then you explain it?
You can show them and I'll explain how I picked them.
All right. And this, folks, is Squeaka's pick.
Yeah.
Alabama. Alabama. You got to explain why, how, and what this is.
No, I'll explain at the end. No, leave them in suspense.
Okay, you want to wait then? Okay. Everything will be explained. How, why, and how this thing. Okay, I'll wait.
Yep.
Dang, you're gonna make me wait even longer. I've been waiting long enough.
You bet. I know, Whoopa, isn't it the best? It's the best football ever. I lick the screen.
Everybody needs to get pressure Squeaka to change her avatars everywhere to the Chiefs football. Okay, that is awesome. I know. I loved it when I saw it. So, so we'll go ahead. My pick is obviously Alabama. So, any reason? Oh, you're going to explain your reasons later.
Yeah, I'm not telling you mine. I've already. Yeah, I'll tell you his when they. I'll tell you the Mouse Father when they pop up. But
okay,
I'm not gonna.
Okay, that's fine. I'm good with it because everybody's gonna. It keeps everybody around, and they're gonna love to hear this. I haven't even heard exactly why.
Well, I don't know if it'll keep everybody around.
Well, stay around. You know, you like hearing her say all this stuff. Okay, so Alabama because they're number one on the road until they get beat by somebody outside the SEC. I'm going to take them. All right, next game we go to. Yeah, I just ride with the horse that brought you. So South Carolina and Arkansas.
South Carolina for the Mouse Father because, and I quote, "Well, I just don't like Arkansas." All right.
All right.
Scientific.
That's all. Hey.
I'm like, what if their numbers are good? I don't care.
love it.
All
Love
right.
it. All right. Well, then we're ready for. Are you ready for your pick to be revealed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just throw mine down all the time. Like I said,
South Carolina. Wow. I'm surprised on that one. But
wait, who'd you pick? Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Gotta
Yep.
be rude. Gotta be rude.
Well, I get Arkansas is at home. Spencer Rattler was pedestrian for South Carolina last week. Arkansas is on a roll, and they're
All
not
right.
the only team. So I'm going to stay with the pigs at home.
You stay with them pigs.
I knew Squeaky was going to pick the Gamecocks.
Actually, I had nothing to do with it, but yes, I totally forgot they were the Gamecocks. And then when I remembered when he said it earlier, I was like, oh, I hope I picked them. I was like, I'm gonna be so sad if I didn't pick them. I had no say in these picks.
Yep. Just stay with it, folks. Okay, so then we got Missouri at Kansas State.
Missouri, because they're pretty strong, and they usually got a good. I don't remember what I wrote here. But sorry, I can't read my own handwriting. So they've got something good that I can't read. They're pretty strong. I wrote this in a tiny notebook, and I didn't have anything to write on. So yeah, they're pretty strong, and they usually got a something. It looks like uwu, but I know that my dad wouldn't say uwu.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, the mouse father has picked Missouri.
Okay. And Squeaky takes
Kansas State.
State. All right. Well, and I will agree with Squeaky on this one. Kansas State at home.
Whoop, whoop.
Don't trust
It's like
Missouri.
you're slapping that cheese football. Slap it with the banana.
Slap that cheese football.
All right, Wake Forest at Vanderbilt.
I'm sorry, I'm speechless for a second because Mrs. created that avatar and I didn't even realize the positioning at first. Slap that cheese football. Wake Forest, Vanderbilt. See, Mouse Father.
Wake Forest, just because. Just because. Well, but just because why? Because I said so. That's a very appropriate father answer right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fine, whatever.
All right. Don't argue with the Mouse Father.
Oh, I argue all the time. Horrible kid.
Well, let's see.
I've said, what the fuck did you do that for? Dad,
And then Squeaky, on that note, takes Vanderbilt. Hey.
I sure did. Just to be a butt. No, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't. I don't choose. I didn't get to choose.
Nope. Oh, gosh. And I take Vanderbilt, too. I think that they'll stay hot. I think the offense will continue. And they may be – when I say Vanderbilt's for real, I'm thinking maybe they can win 5 games. Don't expect an SEC push. Which, Squeaky, going back to the preview show, there was one media voter that voted for Vanderbilt to end up winning the SEC Eastern Division.
It was me.
Okay, that would explain it then. Okay, I got it. Okay.
I don't know if it was or not.
The missus knows me very well.
Exactly. I mean, I'd slap that cheese. Slap it in my face.
Slap that cheese.
All right.
I'll leave the sound effects to you, the professional, because I can't do them.
Nom, nom, nom. Nom, nom.
No,
Bonk, bonk.
we're having too much fun. God, would you
Sorry.
believe we're
Okay,
at
so
an hour and a half?
see a
This is
bit.
awesome. Hey, but don't forget, if you like this, like, share, subscribe, follow on Twitch, and share with your friends, especially if you like this. This is a great time.
Share with your friends.
Yes. Oh gosh, they're here for you, not for me. So that's awesome.
I wouldn't be here if you hadn't. Oh my goodness, no, they're here for you.
But you said yes, so I appreciate it.
Tennessee at Pitt,
Tennessee at Pitt.
because they at home. That's why he picked it. And like, so are they better than Tennessee? Like, I kept trying to get information. No, they at home. That's all you need to know. Oh, come on now. I'm supposed to be talking about this football. Well, then you need to do some work, shouldn't you? I'm like, you butt.
Oh God, that's funny. Oh man. All
I
right.
chose Pitt too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Both taking the home team in that case. I'm going for taking Tennessee.
That's because you're rude.
I'm sorry. I just can't help it. I mean, listen, it pains me to take Tennessee. I don't ever want to select Tennessee, but I just think their offense is too good for Pittsburgh's defense. And
Oh man, I hope Pitt pulls through and
oh,
no
I would.
slapping the cheese for you.
Oh man. Okay,
That's
can I
right,
change?
Whoopa. The squeak father needs no explanation.
Hey, can I change my pick yet, or is it too late? I guess I can't. When you put it that way about slapping the Chiefs football, I might change picks, but
Nope, you don't get to change.
but I will tell you one good thing that would happen if y'all were right. I listened to the sports animal out of Knoxville, and I love it when they're so bad up there because listening to the radio show, it's like desperate. It's take your worst, craziest YouTube stuff, and it's like the callers go crazy, and it's just fun to listen to. So, all right. On this next note, Appalachian State at Texas A&M.
As much as it pains me to say, he picked Texas A&M because it's the Texas team. I mean,
Right.
his excuse was just because it's Texas. Kid you not, just because it's Texas. Not even at home this time. So he didn't really like the Aggies, which leads back to that he's really a UT fan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he said just because they're from Texas, because he won't say anything nice about the Aggies. And my selection choice, unfortunately, I was secretly hoping for something different, led me to the Aggies as well.
It's the right choice using your head.
I didn't use my head,
Yeah,
but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, I know. The power of well, I won't finish it, but yeah. This game was one I struggled. I only struggled for a second on only because Appalachian State beat Michigan many years ago up in the Big House. It was a well-known upset that they had. They've played other big schools and beaten them or played close. They're really a pesky team. Texas A&M being very pedestrian against Sam Houston. The thing is, can Appalachian State score against A&M? And A&M's got a great defense, but I think at the end of the day, I just got to go with A&M and slap that cheese again.
Yep.
I wonder if the missus planned that way.
No, your little dude's had his arm out the whole time.
Oh, okay. That's kind of
well.
But see, up top, I got a football though. So, all right, we're getting into the last 6 of our picks. Starting off with Samford at Georgia.
Samford got picked because Georgia got picked. Sorry, he picked Georgia because I kid you not, this is how the conversation went. So I don't know these teams, don't know what Samford is at or where it's at this point. I'm just like, Samford at Georgia. That's all I yell out. He goes, Georgia. And I'm like, okay, cool. Why Georgia? Because they're from the South. I was like, oh my God, Dad. I'm like, really? Because they're from the South. And I'm like, so where's Samford from? Ain't from the South. I'm like, what do you mean?
He didn't know they were from Alabama, did he?
I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right.
Oh.
I'm like, you get it. You faced him. I'm like, you didn't get it.
That's what I said in my first episode, but that's kind of going out the window at times. We'll keep it nice.
Yeah, no slapping the cheese. No cheese slapping. Okay,
nice,
so yeah. So what did I pick? Oh, I picked Samford. I didn't pick, but the picking tool was Joe Samford. Yep. I was going to have my cat do the selections for me, but I did not. I deferred to a higher power.
Can you say why you didn't select the cat, or do you want to talk to that later?
Because I deferred to a higher power. That's why I didn't let the cat do it.
Okay.
She's a hot mess, and she made me mad, and I didn't feel like involving her.
Gotcha. Cats are temperamental.
I was like, anyway. That's it. No show for you.
No show for you. All right. So then, of course, I take Georgia. So I slap the rhino on the horn and get trampled. So.
Ooh, touch that horn, baby.
Yeah. Hey.
Who do we got? Kentucky at Florida.
Kentucky at Florida. Big game for the week. Let's see what.
Yeah. Because they're at home. That's what he told me. Because they're at home.
Yep. Okay. And then we'll see.
I got Kentucky.
Wow. I can't wait to see what the higher power said with it. So I'll go ahead and I'm
We know what you're going to pick. Just throw the banana down.
But in all honesty, though,
No, we know.
in all honesty, and I'm serious with this, Squeaka, because I got to be serious for a little bit.
Oh, snap. Okay.
I got because the football side comes out. Had Florida lost to Utah or not played well against Utah, this would have been picking Kentucky because Kentucky did win down there a couple years ago. So they can win in the swamp. But watching the quarterback development in that first game, the fact that even though the defense broke a lot, bent but did not break, not sure about Kentucky's running game. Those are things why I'm thinking Florida because, and like I said from day one, is it depends on Florida's quarterback play. If they can get a legitimate quarterback play, somebody that's not turning the ball over, or like in the Georgia game last year where he had the snap hit him in the face mask and caused a fumble, if you can avoid this type of mistakes, this could be a special season for the Gators. They win this game, they'll be 3-0 going into Knoxville, and then all bets are off in 2 weeks with Florida, Tennessee. But that's my pick and why. Like I said, I if you asked me about 3 weeks ago, I would have probably said Kentucky had a better shot. But actually having watched Florida on the field, I'm convinced they're better than what people thought they were going to be. So, by the way, I got to say, we had the missus said, yeah, but I won't listen. Of course, it's my fault. And Homer. Yes, that's okay. It's host prerogative. Actually, I have picked Florida to lose 3 games. And at this point, before the season started, one of them was to lose at Tennessee. But I could change that based on what I see, in the next few weeks. So, on that note, Central Arkansas at Mississippi.
He picked Mississippi because they, quote, they just be better.
Okay.
All right. It'd be better. I picked Mississippi because I again, look at us all. Poor Arkansas.
Yeah, we're all on the same side. I really celebrate Central Arkansas because back in 2020 when everybody shut down, they played another small school. They were like the first game to play all year in 2020, and I was grateful to get to watch any football. So, but I can't pick them against Ole Miss. So, San Jose State at Auburn.
We both got Auburn, but he picked it because they were, quote, they're just better and stronger. I was like, you just don't like anything in California. I didn't say that.
Oh gosh, that's too funny. Now father has spoken. Speak, I guess, for Auburn.
I got Auburn too. We all know you're gonna pick San Jose because you mean.
No, I got to stay on this side. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Auburn at home. Taking the SEC teams. Southern at LSU, except for Missouri. I still think Missouri's going to lose at Kansas State. Kansas State's pretty good. Southern at LSU.
We've both got LSU. He just picked it because it was at home.
Yeah. Southern is just a real small school there that LSU will bounce back and dominate.
It was close, though. The method of choosing came down to a wire between Southern and LSU.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Really? Well, we know what it did.
Count.
Wow. Well, we know what happened with Sanford, Georgia. So, wow, that's interesting. Oh, wow. So, okay, we leads us to our final game for the week. Mississippi State Bulldogs at Arizona. So, let's see.
He picked Arizona because that's his girlfriend's alma mater.
Ah, interesting. Okay. Let's see what Squeaka takes. Wow. And that could be a good pick too. That's kind of an even game between the two. But yep. Squeaka takes Mississippi State. And to end it here, I am going with homestanding Arizona. They produced on offense last week. I don't trust a SEC team going to the West Coast and playing like they do in the Southeast. Usually when they cross country, they fold up. Offenses like Mississippi State collapse, and the home teams usually have their way with the Southeastern teams out there. So that's why I'm taking Arizona in this case. So let's see. So Squeaka, that was fun. That was a lot of fun, Squeaka. So, and we'll update the chat stats for next week. And folks, we'll probably do this week is put out a little short video of a little short video recapping this week's picks. Probably released on Saturday morning, just kind of as a reminder. And if you like this, like I said tonight, like, share, subscribe. And we're gonna have other guests.
You may tell you how I picked them.
Yes, I will. I just wanted to self promote for a second, if you didn't mind.
Oh, sorry.
I make everybody wait just a hair longer, but anyway, just because you know me, I'll forget to say it before the end of the stream, but everybody's going to get yours, and I have to know what you do. But anyway, like, share, subscribe, follow, do whatever, and thank you for everybody that's been here and that will watch it later. I'll say that one more time. And now for what I've been dying for, and what I know a lot of people really want to hear about. How did you pick your winners this week, Squeaka?
The super scientific method. Now you can't copy this, okay?
Did you get a trademark on it?
You can't copy it.
I won't copy it.
It's mine and mine alone. It's how I make the big monies, okay?
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you put them on a piece of paper, okay? Then you draw a line down the middle, so they each have their own little box, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then you take that piece of paper, and you take the mixed bag of shredded cheese and you sprinkle it over the paper. And you sprinkle it over the paper.
Shredded cheese.
And whoever has the most cheese is the winner. Now, in the event of a tie, whoever has the most yellow cheddar cheese is the winner.
How do you spread it?
You just sprinkle it over the top of the paper and it falls on the paper.
Would you just take the bag and just drop it upside down on the paper?
No, you stick your hand in it and pull out some cheese and sprinkle it on the paper.
Okay, but how do you keep it even? Wow, that is.
You just sprinkle it on the paper and it lands where it lands, and whoever gets the most cheese is the winner. Yes, I ate the cheese afterwards.
Hey, you don't let good cheese go to waste, never.
And like I said, in the event of a tie, because there was a couple of teams that had the same amount of cheese in their squares, it came down to who had the most cheddar cheese in their squares.
Well, your mouse has a little smile and a Baylor uniform or Packer just for you. And Mrs. loves that method. That is awesome.
Yep, that's why I have a cheese football. I made all my selections with cheese.
That is, no cheese can be wasted. Exactly. I was trying to figure out how the hell you'd pick Samford over Georgia, though, and I guess that's the way it happens.
It got more cheese,
and it's better with cheddar.
It is. That's exactly why I went with the cheddar. Was I told myself, well, they're better with the cheddar. I was like, Whoopa knows me. We Baylor buds.
Yeah, but Mrs. is also mentioning that no cheese was harmed in the picking of these games.
Oh, it was harmed. I ate it.
Wow.
It was very harmed.
With extreme prejudice.
Okay. It wasn't harmed. It was given a great after party. How's that?
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. Oh, wow. Now, I tell you, honestly, you kind of teased it to me, but I never in a million years that would have thought that that's awesome. That you.
Yep. I was going to have my cat select. I was going to put both the names on the floor and see which one she walked to. But no, I was mad at her. So I said she didn't get to be in the stream tonight.
Wow. That's awesome. Wow. I'm still speechless. I don't know how to finish after that, because that's I did not expect that coming. But, hey, it's a great style. I know the missus had her way of picking it. You got your way of picking it. I mean, other people will have their ways of picking it. But I tell you, I think probably people really love yours, the way you picked it tonight. I mean, hey, very eccentric, I would say. And one that people like. Hey, it gives us a good laugh, though. That's for sure. So
yeah, that's why I say I didn't have a choice. The cheese did it for me. The cheese stands alone. It speaks for itself.
Yes, or the power of cheese. I think it was what you said earlier. The higher power.
The higher power.
Oh. Well, Squeaky, guess what?
What?
We've made it through all the parts of our show. We've
Oh,
taken
wow.
almost 2 hours, and it has flown by. And Squeaky, some of the things you told me already, I knew about. I hope that people enjoy getting to learn a little bit more about you. Some of the things you done is new and very insightful. And you actually came up with some good research on some other things behind these teams and these schools. And I just want to thank you so much. You've been very supportive for streaming, and you've been, and you know I know that you say that you don't know football and things like that, but being willing to come on tonight and being here, and I want to say thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. I mean, especially I really don't know a whole lot about football, and I haven't kept up with a lot of it.
Mhm.
So I'm happy that everybody's hopefully everybody's had a good time, and and I appreciate you letting me be on and look at all your cool charts and graphs that the awesomeness is made, and
Mhm.
and thanks again for letting me throw down my dad's picks in there. That means a lot to me, and
Well,
not my cat because she's
no.
but
Well,
but
maybe. Well, maybe if I can get you on a second time, maybe the cat will redeem itself to get a chance. But I don't know. I think people like the power of the cheese, though. But
maybe I'll do both. Maybe I'll let the cat have her time, and I'll still
well,
pick cheese.
it's been so much fun because I hadn't had to do a lot of the talking because I know people like to hear more about you, and you have a lot to say and a lot of good insight. So, and like I said, is there anything you want to promote, or is there anything you want to say, or anything
Uh,
you just want to say? Leave it up
I
to
mean,
you.
thanks, of course, to the chat being here and everybody that's hung out this whole time and listened to me drone on about weird, crazy shit about cheese. I mean, and football, because those are the two great things that go great together. Well, I don't know about that. I just know cheese is good, so that's good. So thanks to the chat for hanging out and everybody here, and thanks again for you having me on, and especially the missus. I know she puts a lot of work into those slides, and for letting me have weird icons and adding my dad into a slide. I know that was extra work. So, and just, thanks for having me here. I mean, as far as stuff I do, I have a gaming stream that I do on Wednesdays from 6 to 9 Central Standard Time. Um, but that's about all I do right now. Hang out and chats and stuff otherwise.
Well, I tell you what, you have a lot to say. You have a lot of great insight, and you're a lot of fun. And it's been a great 2 hours of just spending time with you and getting to hear you talk. It's different when you're on with lots of people and versus when you're just one or two people. So, and you've had a lot of great stuff to say, Squeaker. And I thank you again for being the first non-family guest. Mrs. was the first last week, and you're the first non-family guest. And we'll have some more guests lined up coming down the road. And I'm going to put you in the, I hate to say it because it sounds bad. I'm going to move you back for just a moment. I'll be back with you in just a moment, Squeaker. Just don't go anywhere, okay?
Okay, I'm going by.
Thanks again. Everybody say bye to Squeaker.
Bye. Thanks again, guys. Good night, everybody. Take care.
And thank you again, everybody, for being here. Like I said, share it, talk to other people. If ever, it's a great stream tonight. Hope for bigger, better things going along. And this was such an awesome episode. And thank you to everyone that was here. So many people in here. I know a lot of times I try to name people, but I know I'm going to miss people if I do that. But thanks again. We'll see you next Thursday night again at 8 p.m. Eastern with another guest. Planning on some other shorts maybe at times during the week, and I'll try to look for your Twitter. Dadman Walking 55 is my Twitter account, and look there for updates of when things will be posted. And I'm going to say, on that note, everybody have a good night and be safe out there, and just take it one day at a time and just be good to each other and take care and see you next time. I'm almost remembered it here. Wait a sec. Oh, shoot. I gotta do this slide. I did the very end, and here we go. All right, folks. I did it again. Let's try this again. Bye, everyone.